I know what you're thinking. What happened to all your educational content? The truth is, I'm bored of it. I've stopped doing it. Just kidding. You will see more of that content in the coming weeks. But I thought, let's switch it up a little bit. Let's give you guys a little bit of a treat. In this video, watch me co-write a short story with ChatGPT. There will be blood-stained strangers involved. There will be idiots involved. But there will be no tea involved. In this story, there will be no drinking of tea. Alright, you're probably a little bit confused, but trust me, you will find the answers by the end of this video. So without further ado, enjoy.
Hello and welcome to Storytime with ChatGPT, and let's just get started. Alright, so hopefully you can see my screen here. You can see this little cursor moving about. Let's start off by saying hello. Hello, how can I assist you today? Would you like to write a short story with me? If you heard that was just a car. It just went past my window. Well, the road. But yeah, don't be afraid. Okay, so of course, I'd be happy to write a short story with you. Let's get started. How would you like to begin the story, and do you have any specific ideas or themes in mind? Do I have anything specific? No, nothing specific, but I would like to offer up an idea on how to proceed. That wasn't a trick question. It wasn't a trick question. I don't know why it took longer. Sure, feel free to share your idea on how to start the story or any particular elements you'd like to include. We can build the story together from there. Cool. How about if I write one line, one sentence, and then you write one sentence? That sounds great. Please go ahead and start. You start. Certainly. Here's the first sentence. In a small, quiet village nestled between rolling hills, a mysterious stranger arrived one foggy morning. Mysterious stranger. Stranger is wearing. Stranger is soaked from top to bottom. Soaked from top to bottom. Though it did not rain It did not rain during the night. It did not rain over the night. The villagers gathered around, their curious eyes fixed on the stranger as they whispered amongst themselves about the odd circumstances. Paul, the village idiot, though, noticed a mysterious tint to the stranger's clothes. for they were stained red, crimson. They were stained crimson. Paul, known for his childlike curiosity, cautiously approached the stranger and asked, "Why are your clothes stained like that? Did something happen?" As quick as lightning, and a chorus of "Shut up, Paul." Volleyed. As quick as lightning, a chorus of "Shut up, Paul" volleyed. Whoops. Around the village streets. That's important. The word streets. Undeterred, Paul took a step back, his eyes never leaving the stranger, who replied with a faint, enigmatic smile, "It's a long and curious tale, one that might just explain my unexpected visit." Alright, I don't know where that accent's from, but let's proceed. Alright, so Paul's still looking at the stranger, and the stranger replies, "It's a long and curious tale." He continues, "It's a tale that one would like to would love to discuss over a cup of beautiful B-E-A beautiful. Let's fucking get that. Beautiful English breakfast tea. I'm going to restrict this to 10 messages. So okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so I've still got 6 more. I don't want this to go on for too long. I'm guessing you don't want to be sitting here for 20, 30 minutes. Alright, so let's keep going. It's a tale that one would love to discuss over a cup of beautiful English breakfast tea. The mention of tea piqued the interest of the villagers, who began to exchange glances, their curiosity outweighing their earlier caution. It must be known that tea, once the villagers' most cherished drink became a source of animosity, and infamy after a local man burned down 3 houses and blamed on a poor copper Peru. This is going crazy. I think for the next one, I might even do a random generator to make it a bit more focused, or even if I can get people to write in their own suggestions so that we have a bit more of an interactive story. But anyway, for right now, let's proceed. Let's see what's happening to this village. The memory of that fiery incident still lingered in the minds of the villagers, but the stranger's offer of tea had an intriguing allure, as if it held the promise of redemption for this once beloved tradition. That's not what I wanted the story to go. I don't want a redemption thing for them to go back to tea. Let's go back to Paul. No. Oh, Mrs. Peters. A village elder was first to break the silence by silence. Sorry, sir, but you must know that we have a torturous. We have not torturous. We have a bad. Fuck it. Let's just put torturous. Have a torturous history with tea, and it is not a drink we like to consume in these parts anymore. I love how the conversation is like you've got this villager who's soaked in this kind of like blood like blood like clothing that's been stained in blood, and the villagers are just talking. Well, they were just discussing about tea and stuff. All right, let's see if we can get a bit wackier. All right, so Mrs. Peters. Sorry, sir, but we do not. You must know that we have a torturous history with tea, and it is a drink we like to Oh crap! We do not like to. The stranger nodded solemnly, understanding the weight of the history. I respect your sentiments, he said, and I'm here to make amends, not to further bring trouble. Perhaps you would consider hearing my story first, and then decide whether tea deserves a second chance. Oh my god. No! Screamed. Excuse the punctuation. No! Screamed Mr. what? Mr. Cole. No! Screamed Mr. Cole. We will not be making any exemptions concerning the reintroduction concerning the consumption of tea in this village. No, screamed Mr. We will not be making any sounds tea in this village. You, sir, tell us who you are and why you are here. The stranger met Mr. Cole's intense gaze with a calm demeanour. Fair enough, he replied. My name is Alexander, and I have come seeking refuge from a past I cannot change. I promise you, my intentions are peaceful, and my story might just change the way you see tea forever. Oh my. Well, it's some kind of like tea evangelist. We're trying to bring tea back into this area. What does he work for PG Tips? Alright, let's carry on going. Alright. My name is... My name's Alexander. I've come seeking refuge from the past. My intentions are peaceful. Paul, first to interrupt. No, let's not do that, just that. The stranger met Mr. Cold intense. Alexander continued. I am on my way to see my sister. She makes the most delicious rock cakes in the whole country. This is over one sentence, isn't it? But you know, they've gone over a sentence there, so let's just carry on going. I am on my way to see my sister. She makes the most delicious rock cakes in the whole country. I was aiming to reach her house yesterday afternoon. However, my car broke down 10 miles back, and I couldn't, and there was no houses or people around to help me. Okay. Alright, before we get the next sentence, let's just see how many we've got. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so we've got 2 more. Alright, let's keep going. So I am on my way to see my sister. She makes the most delicious rock cakes in the whole country. I was aiming to reach her house yesterday afternoon. However, my car broke down 10 miles back, and there was no houses or people around to help me. Yeah, I understand his accent is changing a lot. I know he sounds like an esteemed gentleman. Alright, so as Alexander shared his tale of a broken down car and a long, lonely journey, the villagers' skepticism began to wane. They realized that this stranger might not be connected to their painful history with tea at all. Mrs. Peters spoke up, her voice softer this time. Well, if you mean no harm and only seek assistance, we can lend a hand. As for tea, well, maybe it's time we reconsider. The villagers seemed to agree with Mrs. Peters' sentiment, but also remained puzzled as tea was not permitted to be stored in anyone's house, but at the bank, at the local bank, under 24-hour security. The crowd moved apart, allowing Mrs. Peters to walk, to direct Alexander deeper into the village. Following Mrs. Peters, Alexander couldn't help but notice the peculiar absence of tea in the village. The streets, once filled with the aroma of brewing tea, now seemed devoid of it. How does he know? As if it had been banished entirely. Has he not been listening to the story? He wondered about the story behind this unusual prohibition as they walked deeper into this village. This guy's really not listening, is he? Alright. They just as they were about to reach the village inn, Paul interrupted Paul interrupted, squeaking. Mr. Alexander? You didn't explain the red stained clothing you are wearing to a simple man like me. It looks sure like blood. Alright, let me just tell GPT. Finish your on a cliffhanger. Let's try and do that. Just as they were about to reach the village inn, Paul interrupted, squeaking, Mr. Alexander, you didn't explain the red stained clothing you are wearing to a simple man like me. It sure looks like blood. Alright. Hopefully I haven't scared GPT away, but this is going to be the end of this part, and let's see how this story, this chapter is going to end. Alexander paused, his eyes locking with Paul's as the weight of his stained clothing hung in the air. His voice, when he finally spoke, carried a hint of sadness. You're perceptive, Paul, and you're not entirely wrong. Dun dun dun! Alright, that's the end of chapter 1. You know what? Let's try this. Could you please collate the story that we have so far? Alright, so now we have the first section of the story. I think this story is going very, very weird, actually. It's very weird. It's talking about some guy coming to try and bring the tea culture back into this village. And he's staying in this blood-like clothing. But yeah, that's where ChatGPT has led me, so bye. Well, actually, if you do want to see the next episode of this, if you want me to continue this story, comment continue dot, and then I'll continue it. If not, I'll probably still continue it if I like it. I'll come back to it in a few days and think, actually, what did happen to that story? But yeah, ciao.